What's up, everyone, and welcome back to UA Anime Club, the weekly podcast where we discuss the newest season of My Hero Academia as it comes out week to week. I'm your host, Seth, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Poyo and Micah. Say hi, you guys.
Hi. I just woke up.
I just woke up.
We're back. It's been 2 weeks since. No, it's been a while.
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been a minute.
I'm very tired. I can't count right now. If you remember, as I said at the end of the last podcast, that there wouldn't have been a UA Anime Club episode because I was in Sonic and Sega Fan Jam in Georgia. It was lots of fun. Bought a lot of cool stuff. Met some cool people.
Killed some people,
all that fun stuff. Last time, again, we were joined by Trev to do a double up episode where we talked about 2 My Hero episodes. We're not joined by a guest today, but we are going to talk about 2 episodes because we did miss out last week. So we watched episode 120, Disaster Walker, and episode 121, League of Villains versus UA Student. And to sum up episode 120, Disaster Walker, we begin in the beginning of the city with the news, and they're just kind of recounting the level of destruction in Jakku City here is on the same level as, if not worse, than both Deku City from the last arc and Camino Ward from the iconic All Might versus All for One battle.
Yeah.
And just another large scale, like, destructive event. You know, the heroes they're putting their all into, combating this whatever. And then we return to the fight with Shigaraki and them, and it's revealed that Shigaraki, using his newfound ability to selectively decay things, he left a few Nomu alive. He couldn't keep them all alive because I guess he's just not as skilled with the selective decay as he would like to be. But the doctor says that the Nomu that are on the battlefield right now, they're not high-end Nomu. They're not as powerful as the Nomu that they were fighting before, but they're stronger than the black upper tier Nomu. So they're like near high ends, essentially. They're like the in-between. And yeah, so Shigaraki jumps up into the air after the explanation, and he sees Aizawa, and he's like, "You're a problem." So he goes in to try and, get rid of his Aizawa so he can use his quirks again. But Deku and Bakugo, in the nick of time, are able to grab Shigaraki and, push him out of the way because none of the other heroes were fast enough to try and get to him. Then, as, Deku's like, "You can't hurt Aizawa."
No.
No.
Shigaraki comes to retaliate, but, he hears the voice of All for One in his head once again. And he speaks through Shigaraki. All for One's vestige speaks through Shigaraki's body.
Gay.
Gay.
And this kind of puts Shigaraki off guard, and he realizes, wait, I'm not saying that. So he goes into sort of his own subconscious. My phone rang. He goes into his own subconscious, and he sort of decays All for One, the vestige, and is like, no, bro, this is my body, this is my doing. Get out of my head.
Leave me alone, Dad. Get out of my head.
And what happens next? And then I'm very tired. We woke up pretty early.
Bakugo hits.
Yeah.
Bakugo gets him.
He assumes control. Oh yeah, and then Bakugo comes in with his new attack, AP shot machine gun, which is kind of his like AP shot attack, but like tenfold, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Endeavor comes in with a new move too, that we hadn't seen before. Just like a vanishing fist is what he calls it, and it's like this
Crazy animation.
giant.
Yeah.
It's like this giant like falcon punch kind of attack, and the animation in this part just like goes insane because I'm assuming that Studio Bones has like some Endeavor bias.
Mm-hmm.
They love animating this dude. It's crazy.
They love Mirko and Endeavor. Yeah.
And yeah, so he wails on him with that attack, you know, and that's when the mid episode title card drops, and we cut back to the students from class A and B,
Mm-hmm.
and they're watching the battle from the distance, and Jiro, who's like listening in, hears something in the ground like just like erupt.
Something big, something scary.
Something big and scary is coming, and we cut back to the moment where Gigantomachia rises from the ground from a couple episodes ago, and he grabs up the League of Villains, and Dobby's like, "Hey, before we go, I need this guy. He needs Skeptic."
Yeah, he gets gorillas, dude.
And they grab him up, and they head out to Shigaraki's location. And as Gigantomachia is like heading out, the heroes, like Mount Lady and the heroes, try and stop him. And he's just like so strong that even Mount Lady, who's like equally as big as him, can't even stop him.
Just an unstoppable force.
Yeah, like he just keeps going.
And then Kamui Woods and Midnight join in, and she tries to get in close with her power. She like rips off her like shoulder like cloth to do her like sleeping powder quirk, but unfortunately, because Compress and all of them are on the back of Gigantomachia, Compress, he throws his marbles, and like they turn into like debris from the
huge concrete debris. Yeah,
it like makes her fall. She gets like crushed.
She like hits the ground from an incredibly high distance, and she's kind of out, but she's like getting up, and she contacts Momo and the other students, and she's like, "Listen, we couldn't stop him, but we got a backup plan. This is against the law, but under these circumstances, we have to do it. Mm-hmm. You have to make like an anesthetic to put Gigantomachia to sleep. And like if that, and you got to give it to all the heroes, and if that's too much, just run away." And as she's saying this, we see that a group of the Paranormal Liberation soldiers are like about to like attack her. Mm-hmm. And it kind of cuts away from that. And Yayarozu, she's contemplating like, do we do this? Do we not? But then she's like, no, we got to do this. We got to make this anesthetic. Everyone, let's get in gear. We got to stop Gigantomachia. And that's kind of where the episode ends.
Yeah.
And
it's a neat episode.
It's alright.
It's alright. It's a good episode. It's just compared to like the rest, like the previous ones, like yeah. Honestly, this episode, like, it serves to set up things that happen next episode. Like that's kind of what it's trying to do.
It has a lot of the three things that kind of bug me in a lot of anime is reused animation a lot of the time, excessive use of flashbacks, and like limited movement in a lot of scenes. And let me tell you though, in this episode there are moments where like there's some crazy animation, but
of course
it's very much reserved, unlike the last like 6 episodes we've had where it was
it's not constant, which I'm gonna assume that's just to save up for bigger things later, which is fine. But
I think they're trying to like keep the resources.
I guess my issue is just like the flashback, because the thing with the flashbacks is that like it got annoying when it was like like scenes. Like they're just showing us scenes, and what they're trying to do, which is a little smarter, is like just like the important snippets, which I don't mind, but it gets kind of like
they were like back to back to back.
Yeah, it felt like back to back, and I was just like, okay, we get it. We know. I'm sorry.
Still very good though. But
it was a good episode. It just has a lot of like the MHA like meme where it's like My Hero Academia episodes before Deku's about to hit the enemy, but he has to have like 3 different flashbacks
before he does.
5-minute monologue before he does. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's basically it, yeah.
Some of the flashbacks I can understand happening. Like there's a bit with Aizawa and he's like looking at Deku and Bakugo fight Shigaraki, and it cuts to him thinking about like,
teaching
you'll never be a hero with that quirk, and then like the juxtaposition of Deku fighting like the world's strongest villain right in front of his eyes, and then like Bakugo thinking back to Aizawa having to apologize on his behalf on public TV.
Mm-hmm.
Those make sense a lot. But there's like a few kind of like random ones.
Yeah.
Like not Tomura. Gran Torino is fighting Shigaraki, and he's like, "I can take you. I trained All Might," and then it just cuts to like apart from like the one OVA
with young All Might for some reason.
Might, which I guess if you want to put visuals to that line, but
sure,
you didn't really need to,
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that line was kind of useless anyway. It's like, okay. All right.
And like there is some flashbacks with Shigaraki that I could understand, like he's thinking back to just like All for One, and like
some of them make sense, but
some of them do. And I get it, but I was like, guys, we just had like 6 episodes straight where this wasn't happening.
Without this happening, like, or at least it wasn't to the extent of what they were doing here.
Yeah, to this extent, it's just like okay.
And don't get me wrong, it's not as bad as the one season 5 episode where Endeavor sits in a chair and has like 12 flashbacks for 10 minutes.
Because like they only adapted like 1 or 2 chapters.
Like half of one.
Yeah.
Chapter. Crazy.
So like, don't get me wrong, this is nowhere near that level, but like on this like season, it's definitely like pretty low.
Yeah, like, okay.
lower than the first episode, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the highs, like the rest of the season has been like really high moments, but this episode has like really high highs and like really mid lows.
Yeah.
Which is like, and as Poyo you said before, it's like maybe this is just like the animators like saving up on the resources for later, which I could understand.
Yeah.
6 episodes straight of the Sakuga, you're gonna need a break.
Yeah, you're gonna need a break. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this episode. Not that stuff didn't happen. It's just that like
it's a build up.
It just kind of felt like the setup for next episode. I guess the main thing that's like crazy is just like how powerful Shigaraki has become, and then like now Deku's in the mix.
Yeah, Deku and Baku.
I want to like I want to like bring up like that, like you see shots of Endeavor just like going crazy and like just you can feel the impact that he's making on Shigaraki, but Shigaraki just takes it,
not making a dent.
Not a dent. And he's the number 1.
It is crazy how powerful Shigaraki is because he's quirkless right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got Aizawa
is still. Yeah, they literally said they literally said last time like just his brute strength is like crazy enough.
Pure strength.
It's like All Might level almost.
Yeah.
Also the little moment I love in the manga how like when Shigaraki is coming towards Aizawa, he's like just like I gotta live to see these students like
Yeah.
be heroes.
Yeah, for sure.
I love Aizawa. He's so cool.
And if we're gonna get nitpicky, I guess the manga version, as he's saying that, like all of like there's a bunch of panels of every student and like a little like
Yes.
fun moment in their like time in class. But here in the anime, they use like bank animation from like season 4's opening
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
that. I didn't think it was that like
Impactful.
It also
It's
felt like
like-
really like they were trying to get through it as fast as possible almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They do have a shot like not too long after of like, you know, class 1A, but it's when Deku's talking, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it like they have this where they're all talking and stuff, which is fine. I guess like to piggyback off what you said, it to me it just kind of felt like, okay, do we have like footage of everyone from like something
Yeah.
from the opening? Okay, let's use that one.
Oh yeah, there's a really funny shot where like Deku is like using his black whip on Shigaraki, but then Shigaraki like the momentum, like Shigaraki just stops and the momentum just carries Deku flies by.
He like flies by him. It looks like a fucking like Kill a Kill gag where the characters just kind of like glide over the screen.
Mm-hmm. It was really funny for such like deadly moment.
A serious moment.
Yeah. But I think we kind of said everything here. It's just there's not too much to say
There's
about
not
this
too
episode.
much.
There's the end where, you know, Midnight is
Oh,
hurt.
that's right. That is right. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because basically, like Seth was explaining, she got fucked up by the villains, and she's like immobilized almost. And she calls up Momo, and she's like, "Yo, you need to like create anesthetics and like stop this dude. And if you can't do that, you gotta run away." And like, it is kind of like a moment because like, if you remember, like she specifically said that Momo has like the potential to be like a good hero and a great leader and stuff because she does have those qualities. Like Momo's a goat, you know, but now she's leaving this responsibility to Momo and everyone else, and they're all kids, and they're all just like, wait, why is she doing this? Like, she should be able to do this herself. Like, what's going on? Like, they don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like as this is happening, the League on Gigantomachia's back is like firing off attacks, and there's kind of like Meta Liberation Warriors. They're heading towards their location. So it's not even just Gigantomachia that's the problem here. Like they got to fend off quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, can I say that fucking Gigantomachia is terrifying? Like when
He's
he's
so
coming
scary,
towards
bro.
the camera, he's just like they put like shadows on him, and it's just like, whoa, God, here
Nothing
he
is scarier than a immovable object.
Yeah.
A giant naked man. That's why Attack on Titan is so scary. You could even put like the Armor Titan music over some of these scenes, and it would not feel out of place.
You could.
I mean, I miss Attack on Titan. Just, anyways.
But at the end,
that's
it's just like Momo preparing everyone.
Yeah, she gives everyone a little cuppy
anesthetic,
and she's like, "We gotta do it," and everyone's like, "Yeah. We're heroes. We're My Hero Academia."
We are My Hero Academia.
At this point,
and I guess that transitions right into the very next episode, which is League of Villains UA student versus UA students. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it starts off with them prepping, and they put together this like really elaborate like plan where it's pretty much we're gonna make this giant trap combining all of our like skills and quirks.
Yeah.
And we're gonna use all of these anesthetic like jar containers that I made. We only need one, but we just made a bunch in case. And yeah, they put together this trap. And there's a little moment where Minetta's like, "Hey, do you think like Miss Midnight is okay, and Ashido is like, oh no, she's fine. We're pretty soon we're all gonna be back in class, and it's gonna be a nice fun day at school, and it's gonna be all good.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Gigantomachia is running like Mach speed towards them.
He's
Mount Lady like grabbed onto him, like she's still trying to like to do something.
She says something funny like, I haven't been this clingy on a guy since middle school.
Yeah, I love that line.
It's really funny. But yeah, they get Gigantomachia in their trap. Like, it works. And they're like pulling in all the stops to keep him still and to open his mouth. And they like tie him up. They like go on his back to like attack the League of Villains. Kaminari then like he's like sent in the air by I forgot her name, but she's like the ghost girl from Class B. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna zap all of you. But then Compress, he has like his like robot arm. His robot arm like shoots out like all of his missiles, and like Kaminari just gets like sent away and knocked out. So
it's like a similar thing that happened. It's like a similar thing that happens to Midnight.
Yeah. And the students, they manage to get his mouth just a little bit open, and they all throw their containers. But
unfortunately,
he like sneezes.
He just blows air or some shit. Like he just blows air at them.
He blows the air, I think. Yeah, it would be funny if it was a sneeze.
Achoo! And he's like, which not really an issue, but just like kind of stupid to throw all your ammo at the same time.
I think it was more so just like quantity, just for any chance to get inside him.
Yeah. But as like Gigantomachia is like blowing away the jars, Dabi kind of uses it to his advantage, like puts his fire in it, and it's like spreads all across the little forest area that they're in. And Mountain Lady like charges towards Gigantomachia and like gets on his back and like pries his mouth open with her hands and is like, yo, get this motherfucker to sleep right now. And as like even through the like fire, it's Ashido, it's Mina. She comes in using her like Acid Man armor attack that we saw briefly in season 5. And she's like, all right, I got to throw this jar into his mouth. I got to make sure that he, falls asleep. But then Gigantomachia starts like talking, like thinking like, oh, I got to keep going. I got to do this for my master. And when he says that, Ashido like recognizes his voice. And it's all the way back from the flashback in season 4 where she's in middle school and she's like with her friends, and like Machia like comes up to them and he's like, yo, where's my master? And she's like frozen in fear, either at the realization or just like she's just like
taken back to that moment.
She's taken back to that moment and she freezes. And she drops the jar, and Machia is about to like swipe his hand to grab her, but Kirishima comes in, throws Ashido out the way, gets like crushed by Machia's like hand.
Yeah.
But because he's Kirishima, he's like he just tanks it.
Yeah.
And
You Say Run starts playing.
Yeah, You Say Run after like 2 seasons of absence comes back into the OST, and you just see Kirishima. He's in his unbreakable form, and he's like climbing up the side of Gigantomachia's like leg. He has his own jar of like anesthetic. He throws it, but Toga, she throws a knife, breaks it open, and he's like, nope, I got another one.
And it was the one that he took. It was the one he took from Mina. So he throws that one, and it actually does like land in his mouth, cracks his teeth, but the liquid still goes in. And they're like, yeah.
They're like, yeah, he did it. Now he's just got to make sure that he, doesn't get anywhere. And he's back in the trap, and all the heroes who are flying in on like the one hero, his name is like Majestic. He's got like rings that everyone's like flying in. They're coming in to like finish off the fight pretty much. But Gigantomachia, he's got one more like trick up his sleeve. He like transforms, like his jaw like
shifts to his eyes.
Shifts to his eyes. He like grows in size a little bit. Spikes on his back like become even sharper, and he has like giant like mole claws. Yeah. Because earlier in the episode, it is revealed that just like Shigaraki and like the Nomu, he is loaded up with a bunch of quirks that just make it so that he's on the battlefield as long as possible.
He's a guardian, basically.
Yeah, he's like juiced up on quirks, and he like swipes towards the heroes, and it cuts back to Deku and gang. And Shigaraki, he's like down and out, but he's like getting up, and he's like, this hero society, all it did was breed just trash that can't defend themselves, and then people who profit off of protecting that trash, and it just is this like cycle. And he goes back to the words that his father told him, is that all heroes do is hurt their families to protect complete strangers. And this society is kind of just like they created their own problem pretty much. And as he's saying this, Endeavor's like, all right, final attack, I'm killing you. And that doesn't work. And Shigaraki, he goes towards Aizawa again. Or no, actually, I'm sorry. Before that, Gran Torino comes in to try and attack Shigaraki. And he grabs him. Shigaraki like grabs Gran Torino by the leg and like crushes his like ankle. And like you see like the blood like spew everywhere. And like everyone's like, oh shit. So they're like running towards him, trying to get him. And like Gran Torino's like looking. Yeah, he's looking up at his face, and he's like terrifying.
He's jump scare.
Shigaraki jump scare moment.
Yeah.
And we flash back to the moment where, this is how you use a flashback. It's back to the moment where Nana Shimura is leaving Kotaro, her son, Shigaraki's father, like for good. And we see a scene where she's talking to younger Gran Torino and is like, from this moment on, I have no son. I've never had a son. I've even like went in through the records and like eliminated all like signs that we are even related. From this moment on, I'm childless. And she starts like bawling her eyes out, and Gran Torino like comes in and embraces her. And then he says something like internally where he's like, Shimura, was our decision ... And like, I don't know why, but when he makes it like our decision, is it implying that Gran Torino is like Kotaro's father?
Yeah.
Because why would he have a say in what Nana Shimura does? Like having a say, obviously, like backing up her plan, but like the way he phrases it makes it seem like they came up with the plan, like like in tandem. Like it was just as much my decision as it was yours, almost. So is it implying that they're related somehow?
Possibly.
That's possible. That's really hard to decide, though. Just because, like, I'm sure he was like, if you are gonna be this hero, you gotta, like, let go of everything.
Because, like, if the dynamic, because, like, previously I thought the dynamic was kind of like master and student.
Yeah.
But if it's like, because I don't think he's that much older than her. Because even when he was young, he had white hair.
Yeah.
So like if she lived, she'd be just as old as he was. So it's possible that they were like a thing. And even then, like I was gonna even bring up like, I guess Shigaraki has white hair too, but that was more of like a result of his like stress and his quirk kind of changing his hair color. So I'm not sure if that like actually like applies. But it's interesting to think about, just the way that they worded it. But then what happens after that is Shigaraki gets into his pocket. Or no, he gores Gran Torino right in that moment. He like punctures his hand through his stomach, and like blood just spews everywhere. And then after that, Deku comes in. He's in a fit of rage, right? And he's fucking zooming towards Shigaraki. Shigaraki gets into his pocket, grabs some of the Cork erasing bullets, zips past Deku like he's not even an issue, like he doesn't even see him, and then heads towards Aizawa. And Ryukyu, the dragon lady, like tries to block him, but he like punctures his hand through her like big hand, and it's pretty graphic. Like you see, like
there's
his
blood and shit. Like you see his hand like go to the other side of it.
Not even just the blood. You see like the meat.
The meat.
Like it's gross. And he's got the bullet in his hand, and he's about to like try and flick it at Aizawa, but Deku, he uses Black Whip and he like gets on his shoulders, and he's about to do 100% power new attack, Wyoming Smash, and he hits Shigaraki. But Shigaraki just like kind of like he takes it. He just tanks the hit, thinks about like his past. he has his mouth on on Deku's arm,
like biting it basically.
And he flicks the bullet, and it hits Aizawa in the leg, and that's the end of the episode. Lifts off on a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode,
much pretty good.
Much better than the last
one. Good. It's pretty good. For starters, a lot less fucking flashbacks and cutaways.
Yeah, they actually less of that. Smart. They're very smart about the flashbacks that they use and when they use them.
First of all, I want to mention because now the students have their responsibility of taking this guy down. The plan they make to like restrain him, actually pretty good. Like it's actually pretty good. They were able to stop him. They were able to like immobilize him for a little bit. Like they were pretty smart with that.
If Gigantomachia just wasn't like broken, this would have been like a 100% it can't fail plan.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just because Gigantomachia is just the way he is that it doesn't work.
It just impossibly strong. Just an
animation. This episode was a lot better too than the last one.
It was, yeah.
Like there was a lot of solid artwork. There was a lot of solid like just movement. Nothing like absolutely crazy like the last few episodes, but it was better than the last one.
It had some really good moments.
It did.
But there is like, actually, let's talk about Kirishima first because that moment was really cool.
My baby, my boy.
Seth was when like the song started playing. It was like, what?
Whoa! Because they haven't played it in forever.
You say run,
yeah. This song they used it like way more sparingly after season 3. Like during season 3, I don't think they play it at all. Besides, I think they do play the like the slow like rock version of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then like season 4, it's gone. Season 5, I think they play it for like a little bit, but I think if I'm remembering correctly. But then this is like the actual like grand return of Yusei. Play it like
it's the original,
kind of in full because there's like it like cuts away to the chorus a little faster. Yeah. But no, it was a great moment and it was really well animated and
it gives that moment of hope where it's like, oh my god, we did it!
We did it! Yay!
We saved the day! And then it stops. Yusei Run stops.
Yeah, they played Yusei Run and still didn't win. That's how like desperate that's how powerful Gigantomachia is.
Yusei Run played everything. It was supposed to
work.
And Machia is like, I guess I'm gonna call it like the mole form.
Yeah.
is pretty crazy looking.
It is.
Like he's got like no eyes because his jaw just like Transformers like moved up his arm, like his face.
Yeah, legit.
His arms are like mole claws now. It's I don't know. How does that work biologically?
I don't know.
If that's like his skin.
I really don't know.
I don't know, dude.
I guess he just has like a kind of shape-shifting quirk thing.
Maybe that's
quirk.
Maybe that's one of the quirks he has, is just like maybe it's like some sort of modified like kind of regeneration that can like, so his body can like shift around. I don't know. Also, I wonder how many quirks he has, because he's got they said a few.
Yeah,
I'm sure one of like the smelling is like a quirk.
Yeah.
I'm sure his like gigantification is one.
Of course. That's hard to say. Also, Aizawa, man, they would have like been all dead if he wasn't there.
He was not there.
No, and they might be dead because he got hit with that bullet.
They might, yeah.
So that's probably like the biggest like shift, is that if Shigaraki can use quirks, it's over. So I don't even know what they're gonna do. Well, I do know.
Over. Yeah.
But I'm saving it for keeping up the anticipation for anime onlys.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the biggest like turn of the fight so far.
It was funny because like Seth made a point where he said Japan had like 3 9/11s in this
in a single year.
In a single year.
Like,
you recap it at the beginning where it's like, boom, Deku City, boom, Camino Ward, boom, Jakku City. Like thousands of people have died this year. It's awful.
Awful.
Just like terrorism is like rampant in this world.
Cities destroying.
And I guess if you think about it, because we live in a time where like we have superhero movies, like we have like 3 superhero movies like a month.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, I guess, used to seeing like in fiction cities being like destroyed. But if you really think about it in terms of like the real world, if 3 major cities were completely destroyed in a single year, that would be horrible.
Horrible, yeah.
Like, can you imagine like the therapy required for just witnessing 3 cities being leveled?
Yeah.
Like, there better be some good counselors on UA. Like, I'm just saying.
I know, right? These kids are gonna have some real trauma. Child soldiers, basically.
Yeah. And I guess because with how quirks work, with every generation being stronger, they're just gonna have to deal with it, really.
Yeah.
Because like the adults essentially this entire time have been kind of useless.
Yeah.
Like if you pay attention to, like, I guess except for Mirko, but Mirko and Hawks are like, they're like only a single generation above the students.
Yeah.
So like they're adult heroes,
like,
but
they're not that old. Yeah.
So like they have like a lot more like powerful quirks than say like a lot of other people besides Endeavor, because he's literally all he does ever is just work out and train. But yeah, like they just kind of like put themselves in this position where, because the kids are naturally like better than adults, they have to be in this war. Otherwise they won't win. And that's like the most fucked up part of all. And it's kind of like what Shigaraki was saying though about like Hero Society, about how it's kind of like just, it's broken.
Yeah.
It puts people in danger, it creates villains, it hurts families. Like in a way Shigaraki is 100% right, but also he wants to murder everyone, so he's like, you can't really like take his side.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Wyoming smash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you mentioned this, and I was like, oh wait, really? Because go on.
In the episode, Deku does Wyoming. He's on Shigaraki's shoulders, and he lifts his arm up to do 100%, and he like lifts it down to, or not lifts it down. What does that even mean? He brings it down to hit Shigaraki, and to do the Wyoming smash attack. In the anime, it like there's like a impact after that, and then it cuts to a reaction shot, and then back to Shigaraki's face. And his arm is in Shigaraki's mouth. And the way that the anime version is framing it is like, oh, did Shigaraki bite Deku's arm? That doesn't make any sense, but I guess that would work, right? To like hurt someone?
Yeah.
Well, in the manga version, the Wyoming smash comes down, and we see Shigaraki's mouth. He has Deku's arm in it, but his jaw and his teeth are shattered, and there's blood everywhere. So that implies that what the Wyoming smash did was slam into his jaw, which wasn't really communicated in the anime, I think.
Yeah.
No.
It just looked because to be honest, the scene itself, at least to me, I couldn't exactly tell what Deku did. He kind of just slams his arm down, but we don't see what he does. And then when it shows Shigaraki, like it looks like he's biting his arm.
Like it kind of looks like he hit him in like the shoulder or the head.
Yeah, that's what it looks like because they didn't show it. They just.
And then it cuts to him with an arm in his mouth, and it's like, oh, did you bite him? What happened here? I think what they could do is like if like the Blu-ray changes up, maybe change up the flow and maybe add back in like the broken teeth and blood and stuff to kind of better communicate that.
Yeah.
I have like a small like theory on why they did this. Cause in this episode, like people are getting like punched in the stomach and through the hand, and like there's blood everywhere, right? But like realistically, a person couldn't do that. That's kind of like fantasy violence in a way. While as punching someone so hard in the mouth that their teeth fall out and break is pretty like realistic violence. So maybe like the network was like, hey, don't do that. Which is kind of dumb anyway, because if you're going to show one thing, why not show the other?
Like, you literally showed all this blood and violence and fucking Shigaraki punching through a character's hand. Like, what?
This is the same season. This is the same season, like a few episodes ago, where people were stomping out like Nomu brains and like brain matter was everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
I guess it's because it's a person. I don't fucking know.
Mirko had like her ankle torn up, and and her side was like fucked up and had to be cauterized shut. I don't know. It's a little strange about like some of the censorship that they do.
Yeah.
It's better than JoJo censorship. Could you imagine if like a black
blurring
was just covering Shigaraki's mouth here?
Oh my goodness. Absolutely not.
Like
blurring the thing about JoJo censoring, because they would censor shit like smoking, but they wouldn't censor all the time. Like they would censor Jotaro doing it, but I think they did that because he's underage. Because other characters will be smoking and it wasn't censored. So I'm just ridiculous. Like, fuck. Yeah, that's I don't know what's going on here.
The manga panel adaptations for this, I noticed a few with Shigaraki. They're very good.
Yeah, like some of them are pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I will say, like, this was from the previous episode, but it's the one where he's standing on top of Endeavor with his fists up. That one's good, but like in the manga, he was doing a little like pose, like he was like had his hand on his hip, and they didn't do that here.
There's also just like a scene where like
ooh, he's scary.
He like flies to like Endeavor with just like his entire face is like in shadow, but you just see him like smiling with his eyes all white.
His face is obscured. It's just like
yeah, just a like demon.
Scary as shit.
But yeah, there's some really good adaptations of like the panels from the manga.
Yeah, and this episode is gonna lead into probably one of the highlights of this arc next episode, which I guess if we're gonna look at these 2 episodes as kind of like the build up to what's happening next, as like the recharge moment for the animators, then yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It does. That's what I was figuring, just like saving resources for what comes next. Can't go all out all the time.
But I wish they were equipped with the staff to go out all the time. I wish they were, because and again,
I wish I
don't get us wrong. Don't get us wrong. Not a bad batch of episodes either.
Oh no.
Yeah.
This one was better than the last one, but
we've just been hit with peak again and again. So when it kind of like calms down a little, it's like, oh, okay.
But yeah, the battle between Shigaraki and Deku begins. Yep. This is like the beginning.
Now... Ew, his lips are crusty.
We're still looking at the frame.
Yeah, Shigaraki's lips are like so crusty.
They're kind of like cracking and stuff, but like, again, it's not really clear what.
This man has chapstick.
Yeah, in the manga version, they're like shattered. They're like, his like jaw is like out of place too. Like, when I first read it, I thought he was biting him, but like the more I thought about it, I was like, oh wait, he like slammed his arm into his jaw. Which, fuck you, Deku. I guess that's dirty. That's a dirty move.
Man, they have to play dirty at this point. There's no option.
I guess if you're not fighting, if you're not fighting dirty, you're not fighting at all. Then
go all out. Be an asshole.
Gotta go all out and kill this motherfucker. Oh yeah, that's right. Deku like also is like, I cannot forgive you. Yeah. Like he took
out Aizawa.
He's utterly angry.
He fucking got Torino. Oh yeah, that panel is so gory. Yeah, I guess they just didn't want to animate this dude's jaw dislocating.
That or like the network. I'm not gonna blame Studio Bones. If anything, like censorship, like is like a TV network sort of problem. What do we call it here? It's like a department. It's
Oh yeah, what's that, like standards or whatever? Not standards, but like,
is it standards and customs? I don't know. It's the censorship department in like a lot of TV. If you listen to like interviewers with like creators of like cartoons or whatever, they'll have some choice words to say about that department.
Yeah, like there is a name for it. It's like the people like it's literally their job to make sure that they do things that are like for the network's like standards or whatever.
Yeah.
Or TV standards.
They judge it.
Standards and practices. That's what
standards and practices. Yeah.
So it might have been just standards and practices, like whatever Japan's equivalent is, being like, that's gross and bad. Don't put it there. Oh, and then the animators are like, we just like spent like 3 episodes where Mirko got torn apart.
Her thighs got ripped up and her side is exposed.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is the realistic quote unquote violence, but yeah, it's not like Deku's punches are realistic.
No.
My hero is real life.
My hero is real life.
All in all, though, like, it was good. You know,
good episode. Yeah,
good episode.
This one had some real good moments.
Yeah.
So
last episode was like a B, and this one was like an A-.
Yeah. Good stuff.
There's some good. There's some good here.
And of course, you say run, it hits that moment.
Yeah. Next episode about to go crazy.
Yeah, we say that like each time.
Yeah, we say.
Like I'm so for real right now. Next episode.
Yeah. Bakugo Rising.
Bakugo Rising. My fucking goat. And I better not see anyone slander this character ever again. I'm literally gonna get you.
Get some new opinions.
Some new opinions.
He's gonna come out of your phone or computer screen and he's gonna choke you.
I'm gonna kill you.
I'll get you. I'll make it look like an accident.
So what do y'all think? Is this the end? Is this the wrap up time?
Yeah.
I've given my score. I've given my thoughts. I've given my bitching and whining.
Like once again, don't get us wrong. It's not bad. It's just a little. It's just taking its time. Taking its time.
It's underwhelming compared to the last things we saw.
Yeah, still good, but
not everything can be peak. Sometimes you gotta
gotta chill out for a little. Be mid, yeah.
You have to be mid in order for peak to. I'm not going to do that sentence. You can figure it out. But yeah, this has been the UA Anime Club podcast.
Ew, that scene. Sorry.
He's just digging through her, dude. That's gross.
It's so disgusting, bro.
Yeah, they show that. This has been the UA Anime Club podcast. Thank you all so much for listening in. And make sure to like this video and leave a comment, share with your friends. And of course, hit subscribe and the bell to be notified whenever new UA Anime Club episodes come out, as well as other Figure 8 content. And we'll see you next adventure. Peace.